And welcome to the Deuce Podcast. I'm Barad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, this is episode 180. And before we get started, Jeremy, we do have some things to say to our audience.
Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast since April 2nd, 2017.
Yes.
So 5 years we've been bringing you Deuces Galore.
Oh shit, is it 5 years?
It's been over 5 years. We've been bringing you Deuces Galore.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're sick of podcasting because we like podcasting. We just want to move forward and do some other shows and some other stuff. We have some creative ideas that we want to get out, and we just can't do them when we're tied to forcing you to listen to us talk about sequels. Not that we don't enjoy doing this, because we do.
Oh, very much.
We wouldn't be doing it for 5 years if we didn't. So that is our little tidbit that will be ending at episode 200. We thought would be Flight of Fancy, you would say.
Yeah. The way we release episodes, it could be year 7 before we...
Who knows? Just like how Wendy the Realtor sells...
No, stop.
Stop. Sells houses.
We make one comment about a minor character, and
in a
focus of this.
In a movie that we're doing, let's talk about what we're doing.
Oh my God.
So it is my choice. We decided, and I decided, to do Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising. Why did I choose this movie? No clue, except for the fact that I was trying to find a movie that was kind of underrated and had a sequel that was good, and if not as well as the first movie.
Yeah.
So I came across, and you've not seen Neighbors, have you?
No, it was one of those movies that I thought would be funny.
Mm-hmm. But you would catch on, I don't know.
Yeah, but I was not in a rush to go watch it, and I just never got around to seeing it.
Because it's that Judd Apatow kind of feel.
Yeah.
The, not Saturday Night Live movie, but like Saturday Night Live movie, where like Judd Apatow now became kind of the mantle of those pieces where it became comedy, but kind of has some gross out comedy, but has some heart.
Yes.
To it,
yeah.
Right. And people that came from that, definitely. This is the same director as Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and the upcoming Bros movie with Billy Eichner.
Nice.
And the writers of Cohen and O'Brien, not Conan and O'Brien, Cohen, Andrew J. Cohen and Brendan O'Brien, who wrote the first movie, and wrote Mike and Dave Need a Wedding Date.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of enjoy them, and this just is kind of like a stacked cast. Before and even after when they were really big. And it seems to be where a lot of these movies kind of fall flat on their second outing. And even their first outing sometimes. I don't find them as funny.
Yeah.
Superbad. I'm not saying I don't like Superbad. I'm just saying there's no sequel to Superbad. Right. And I don't think we need one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just certain reasons why either you don't do a sequel to these movies, or you do a sequel to these movies.
Yeah.
One of them is cash grab, and the other one is maybe you want to see where your characters go.
I feel like Booksmart is about as close to like a spiritual successor
to
Superbad.
Superbad?
Yeah.
Correct. And in a way, this kind of has that same feel in a way, because now we're dealing with a sorority instead of the fraternity. So now that's kind of the only thing that really is kind of different, because they're still pregnant. Right, we're talking about Seth Rogen.
They had their baby in the first one.
Right, but they're now pregnant again.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean they're still pregnant. After all these years, they're still pregnant.
Yeah, they're still doing
they're
the
pregnant again.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pregnant again. We're now we're still living by a house that's becoming a nuisance for the Greek college for fraternities and sororities are concerned. So it shouldn't work, but for some reason this movie does, and it makes me laugh really hard.
Oh yeah,
there's many moments of this movie I thought, man, this movie's gonna be dumb. It's gonna be slow. It's gonna be stupid. It's gonna force the jokes on us.
Yes,
there's many times where it just either they got the right take, or the right words were written, or the right performer, and it works.
Yes, and it had like the right duration. Like sometimes you get these movies where you're like, Jesus, this scene is going on forever.
Yeah.
And it does like the right amount of it, knows when to cut it
away.
off, or if it's going to go long, like at least keeps the energy up.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So I thought they did really well with it. And yeah, it's funny because it has a real good mix of like people who have been in the business for a while doing comedy, and also people who were more up and coming, like you said. As an example, this was Beanie Feldstein's first theatrical movie. Same thing with
Booksmart, who we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Aquafina.
Yeah. Jonah Hill's sister.
Yes.
Yeah. Aquafina's in it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's her first screen, picture, and so, but like you have a lot of classic people.
Right. The first movie, Gerald Carmichael is in
Yes.
it, so he's in this one too as well.
Yep.
Not a lot, but
he's in it, and he's funny when he is.
But up and coming, then you have the people who are not, who have established their work, like Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, Rose Byrne are our top three bills. And let me tell you, like, as much as like I'm impressed by Zac Efron, I'm more impressed by Rose Byrne in this movie.
Yeah, she's
the
funny.
comedy duo. I don't know why I would ever say the comedy duo of Rogen and Byrne, but them two together are just magic. I think they are. I don't know about you.
No, I agree.
It's just funny.
Well, and even like I'm honestly not a big Ike Barinholtz fan.
Oh,
he was
right,
on like
right.
Mad TV and everything back in the day, and like he's funny enough, but like I just
That
never
wasn't
find
Brooks Wheelan?
No, not Brooks Wheelan.
I thought it was Brooks Wheelan at first. I don't know why.
Who, Ike Barinholtz?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh.
I always think it is.
No, although Brooks Wheelan should be in more stuff.
I guess.
But Ike Barinholtz, like I'm not usually a big fan of his. And honestly, I think this might be my favorite thing I've seen him in.
Because he's not in it as much, or when they do, they use him correctly. They use him quickly.
Well, he's got that the over the top humor that he also is doing in the right. Like they're measuring it out just right. Like it's not like a thing that's going on for 3 hours.
Yes, it's not taking forever.
And he has a scene that he interacts with Beanie Feldstein, and like you can just see that the two of them play off each other so well. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Like it's a great. It was very. I enjoyed it.
Our cast also includes Hannibal Burgess from the first movie.
Yeah.
He played the cop or the Officer Watkins, who later Gerald Carmichael decides to be a cop too. So
Yeah.
In this movie, Lisa Kudrow, she shows up.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, for some reason, shows up. I don't know why that was a big, because it was like this really weird. He's hidden from the camera, and so it's a cameo kind of moment. And I don't know why that was like that. It seemed like that scene was supposed to be more important than what it came off as.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't care unless he's in the first movie. We don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's just.
I think it was just supposed to be like she played it up in another scene about how strict he was and how like controlling he was and all this stuff. And it shows up and you're like, uh-oh, this is going to be something.
Right.
And he's just like, I love you and you're growing up.
Growing
know,
up.
it's like this very like weird touching. And I think he just probably wanted to be part of it and have fun.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that was odd.
Kelsey Grammer and Chloe Grace Moretz both did a lot of things with 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm sure, who knows if they met through some of that or mutual contacts through that, but like it seems like they both are the kind of people who could have a lot of fun with a role, and so I'm sure they played around and with all
coming
that.
up before he was really big, Billy Eichner too. As one of the realtors. We have the couple that is checking out the house, played by Abby Jacobson of Broad City.
Yes.
And Sam Richardson of Veep and Detroiters.
Yep.
I want to assume. Broad City is a show that Hulu makes me want to. It tries to get me to watch it every time.
All the time. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what. Like, and it's always when I finish a series. It's like, you just finished Fringe. Would you like to watch Broad City? No, I don't. You just finished like 12 years of being lost on an island.
Yeah.
Would you like to watch Broad City? No.
Yeah.
And I always go, get it before it turns into Broad City.
Yeah. There's
Not
some
that Broad City is bad, but I'm just saying.
there's some Gossip Girl show that it always tries to force me to watch, just because I got done watching like 4 episodes in a row of.
Is it Gossip Girl?
No, it's something else.
Secret Circle or something?
I don't. Yes, just because I watched 4 episodes in a row of Grownish does not mean that I want to tune into Gossip Girl. Thank you, but no,
like,
thank you.
If I'm watching like all of Parks and Rec, and they're like, "Would you like to watch Broad City?" I get that little offbeat, whatever. You know what I mean? But like, if they just finished 6 seasons of a science teacher,
Yeah.
cooking crystal meth, and then they're like, "Would you like to watch Broad City next?"
Yeah.
No, I would like to calm down. I don't even want to watch like Better Call Saul yet, let alone,
Yeah.
Broad City. Anyway, I digress. Stacked cast. Do we have a plot synopsis, Jeremy?
We do. So bear with me here. What's the laugh track for that? Anyway.
Because you made a joke.
2 years after I really didn't. 2 years after the event of the first film, Mac and Kelly are trying to sell their home before the arrival of another baby. Buyers are lined up, but their realtor tells them the house is in escrow for 30 days. The buyers will check in every now and then to make sure everything is okay, which seems just like a formality. Little do they know, a group of young women tired of the Greek system is starting their own sorority next door. Both groups seek the help of ex-neighbor and former frat boy Teddy Sanders, played by Zac Efron, who is having his own struggles with growing up.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Hooray!
All right. You've been deuced. So what do we... joke never gets old. A budget for $35 million, box office $108.8 million. That's a hit. That is a hit.
It's a hit.
It's a hit. It says Parenthood versus Sisterhood. Could be a tagline for this movie. Very much so. And like we said, it's just stacked cast. I don't know where to go with this. There's a lot of fun moments in this movie.
Yeah.
That include I think the girls are really good in this movie too.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk.
Let's talk the sorority half of the story.
Yeah, the sorority half of the story. They're fine. They're the more inexperienced group of actors. You would say. Not saying much because they are way up and coming. These are people who, within 2 years from this movie, will hit big. With Crazy Rich Asians, Booksmart.
Yeah.
All this stuff. So.
Yeah.
Lady Bird, or Fred and Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole premise is, that
they're in escrow.
They go to the girls go to college, and it starts out with Chloe Grace Moretz's character is at the she's like at a sorority like rush party thing, where everybody is it's the stereotypical they're pretty princesses and everybody's sweet and they're all wearing like
sweet life of Zach and Cody because Gomez is there.
Yes, she is.
There you go.
It's weird seeing her in this as like a sorority president.
Yeah.
As compared to her in Only Murders in the Building when she's so emo.
Because she's so emo. Yeah.
No, but the
nice
Shelby.
Nice beats.
Shelby, who is played by Chloe Grace Moretz, goes to this party and she's watching how they're all coming together and whatever, and it cuts back and she's smoking a joint and they're like, you have to put it out, put it in the cup. Like, we don't allow drugs or alcohol here. And they're like, what? And she says, well, sororities can't have parties. And she's like, wait, what are you talking about? But there's parties all the time. I'm like, well, fraternities can have parties.
Now, is this true?
It is true.
It is true. I mean,
Well,
you were in a fraternity.
it's true. It's true because of this. Here's the deal. The sorority system is overseen by something called the Pan-Hellenic Council.
The what?
The Pan-Hellenic Council.
Okay, what's that?
It's just like an overarching, like, they kind of set rules and coordinate things for, like, sororities and whatever else. So the sororities, the rule is, so there's nothing against them having parties, mixers, those kind of things. The rule, though, is that they can't have Pan-Hellenic Council forbid sororities from having alcohol.
Rangers.
Yeah, alcohol or drugs or anything like that. They're banned in those houses. Whereas, like, overarching Greek systems for, like, the fraternities don't put that qualification on there.
Yeah.
It's more left up to universities. Like, where I went, it was a dry campus. So as much as, people followed that, it usually, like, we had a party house that was off campus. And so everybody just went to the party house that you could walk to from the fraternity. So, but you couldn't have, even if you wanted to have something, you weren't supposed to have it at the sororities.
Well, okay.
So,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Go.
Yeah, so it's a real thing. They kind of, they make it sound like it's illegal or something like that.
Yeah, they make it, it's like you're committing, one of the 10 deadly sins.
Yes.
By having a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But no, traditionally they try to hold them at.
They decided they were going to start their own sorority.
Where they could party.
Where they could do it.
In their way, because, and this is also very true. Like, so they went to a party and it was basically.
Yeah.
It was just like, the girls getting treated like objects and like all the guys.
There's a hoe party.
Yeah.
Aren't they all hoe parties?
Well, and they raised that point to Zac Efron where they were like, he's like, no. He goes, it's you have CEOs and CEOs.
Yeah, and it's weird
and
that they raised. I don't know because we've never seen the first one. If that like is a thing in the first one that he just doesn't realize when he's there, or have we come a long way from like the American Pie movies where there are, oh yeah, that is kind of weird that we would have all hoe themed parties.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a
problem. There's a lot of inclusiveness in this movie.
Yes.
That seems very, growing up when we grew up, it's not something that you saw in these movies.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we have two gay friends that decided they're going to marry each other.
My fraternity was chock full of gay people.
But they're going to marry each other, and their fellow brothers are very supportive.
Yes.
In fact, it's not gay panic at all.
No.
There's not like, oh.
But that's only 5 of them, though. Yeah.
What's that?
That's only like 5 of them, though.
Right, correct. But it's also like we're witnessing that, which is something that you don't really. It's not represented in movies. It's not like it was a thing back then.
And I can't speak for every fraternity, but my fraternity, as an example. And maybe it's just a product of the time too. We're talking like the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean. Yeah. But I'll give an example. Like I think even then some stuff was starting to change. I'll give an example. Even though my fraternity was chock full of people who came out afterwards, at the time we only had one dude who was really brave enough to come out.
Not you.
Not me. No. But a close friend of mine. Was very brave and decided to come out. And he had told me, and then he eventually told everybody else. But he told everyone, and then in like the meetings that we had, one of the guys voted or put forth a motion to expel him from the house.
Right.
For saying all this.
Right.
And so then everybody else held a vote to see if the guy who put forth the motion to exclude our brother, who, would be kicked out. And they ended up getting rid of that other guy instead.
Right.
Because he was betraying his brother.
Right.
And they were like, it doesn't matter. You're our brother. And it was, maybe they were weird with it, whatever, but like they were still like, hey, you're our brother no matter what. And I was like, yeah,
Now,
guys.
this person that get kicked out later on,
Yeah.
did you know anything about him?
Oh, I don't know what the hell happened to him afterwards.
I just didn't know if he came out.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I have seen, like, I think I tracked him down once, and no, he didn't. Just, half of the others of us.
But I mean, we don't even have that conflict here. We just are there.
Yeah.
Which is so great. I like seeing that.
Well, they also say that, I think they said that he didn't tell him till afterwards. Or maybe
I think
it was
so,
at the end of...
Probably towards the end.
Yeah, so I'm
But it's
interested to
probably
see...
hidden. Like, it was probably...
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they, like,
yeah, no, that's
alluded
something...
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
So the girls open their own sorority.
Yes, so they were like, what the hell?
But they're interrupting the lives of
well,
our couple next door.
yeah, well, so Shelby, she meets two other girls, Beth and Nora, who are also like, this sucks. And so they go back, they go to their room.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And they, smoke a little bit and
Yeah,
get
and then
yelled
Kyle
at.
Mooney shows up from...
Yeah. Ugh, Kyle
SNL.
Mooney. God.
You do not like Kyle Mooney.
No, I do not.
Why do you not like Kyle
I
Mooney?
despise Kyle
There are people
Mooney.
that,
I
no,
don't.
and honestly, there are people that don't like Kyle Mooney.
Yeah.
They don't get his comedy. I don't understand it. I don't...
It's not even that. Like, I like absurdist humor and things like that, too. I don't know. It's just something about it. Like, I love some... You know me. I laugh at some
Yeah, agreed.
really strange things.
Yeah,
but
even more than me.
Yeah. But for some reason with him, just it rubs me the wrong way, and I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
why.
know, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. But he works and does comedy and goes out there, and I don't do that. So
Correct.
Good for him.
Correct. And he's in this movie. And he does his part, right?
Yeah, he plays, it's funny enough, I guess.
He's not in it that much.
But so they go and they decide to start their own sorority and go to this house. Well, Zac Efron is there. He has kind of a bad day. He runs back to the fraternity house because that's where he's happiest.
Oh, tell him why his bad day.
Yeah,
Because his friend just decided that he was going to marry his
so
his other friend.
they have a poker night.
Yeah.
And
Which we just said that.
yes.
But then his friend says, well, when are you going to move out? Because we kind of want to move
And he's
here
like, oh, I thought
together
you were gonna...
because we're engaged.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I thought maybe I'd live here with you guys.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And he said, I thought we'd live here together. And he goes, well, yeah, but like that eventually we want to have like, maybe a baby in that room. He's like, well, a baby's real tiny. Like it's only takes up like a shoebox worth of space. Like I can, we could both be in there. And they're like, dude, you need to find a new place. And so he tries to stay calm, but he goes running. He just needs to get out of there. And he runs all the way back to the fraternity house then to, where he was happiest, I think was the point of it. So he goes back there.
Oh, can I also say that
Yeah.
McLovin was one of the...
Yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was also one of those...
not in this that much.
No, they were in the... I think he and Gerard Carmichael were in the first one.
I think, well, yeah, they were too. But...
But it's just like a lot of those movies where like you give a nod to the first one and... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the girls are there. They say they're not going to be able to afford the house. And he's kind of in the shadows. And it's just like, hey, you can afford it. Start a sorority. Get, pledges who had to pay their dues. Throw these parties, this and this. Here's how you make the money. And he basically talks through it. And they're like, oh, cool. Can you help? And he's like, yeah. Because he just wants to feel valued at that point. And so he's like, yeah, I can help. So he goes through, basically they start the sorority. In the meantime, the other side of the story is that Mac and Kelly, so Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, find out they're pregnant again. So they decide they're going to sell their house because they need more space with another baby on the way. So they have a place, they buy it, they have people who come in and say, yes, we want to buy your house. We're in. And so the new
You're like,
buyers,
yeah, we did it.
the new buyers
No, you're
are like,
escrowed. You know
yeah,
what
you're in escrow
is?
for 30 days. So where the other people can back out and have inspections and everything, they're like, well, wait. So can we back out of our new house because of escrow? And she's like, I told you guys, no. You said do it no matter what, and so you waived that. And I tried to explain it to you, and you just nodded along like you didn't actually understand, just like you're doing now. And they're just kind of like nodding,
But
like,
don't you feel like Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen, their characters belong together?
yes,
Like you're just like they perfectly found each other.
yes, they did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's like we're past the whole, rom-comness of it, and we're just
Yes.
to the whole, like war against the roses of, the neighbors against the neighbor.
Yes,
Or,
yeah, War of the Roses, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're just like, well, we have to just, and it doesn't seem like it'll be a problem. 30 days, no issues, and they can drop by. And then they see the new neighbors moving in, and like Zac Efron basically kind of threatens them because he's like, I have a police record because of you, and he's like, oh, you'll see, you'll see me again.
You'll see me again soon.
Yeah, he goes. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking to me? He's like, oh, you'll find out real soon.
Yeah.
And then the party starts, and they go over there, and he shows up. He goes, well, I guess it's real soon.
I guess it's real soon.
And Rose Byrne goes, what are you talking about? I said, you'll find out real soon. Well, now is real soon. And she goes, I think all that's happening just in your head. Like, he was like, what are you talking about? But it's funny because it plays on those tropes of like where people are having a conversation and they're in one place and the conversation now they're somewhere.
It's almost like I'm the star of my own show over here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. It's a great line.
So they kind of go to war.
With them.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Just like the first movie.
Yep, just like the first one. The girls are... and it's funny because, like, they talk about a party and they're just like, we don't want to do things this way because these parties are always, trash. And he's like, well, that's not true. We had, guys and hoes. Or we had CEOs and CEOs. Boise boys and Idahos.
Yes.
was one of the parties. And so she's like, yeah, but all of those, the women are always hoes. And he goes, wait, no, it's not. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God. Like he realizes like, that's terrible.
There's also like, there's a party where they're all dressed as their favorite female.
Yes.
Like empowerment person.
Yeah.
And someone's Oprah and they're like, where's the beer? And Oprah's like, check underneath the chair, you get a beer. You get a beer.
Everybody gets beer.
And like even Zac Efron's like dressed in drag. Who is he? Like Clinton?
They go, they go, hey, Hillary Clinton. Like one of them's dressed as, because it's all strong
like
women. That's the theme. And so one of them is Joan of Arc. And she's like, pass me the weed, Hillary Clinton. And she goes, wait a minute. Do you mean me, First Lady Hillary Clinton? And somebody else goes, or do you mean me? It's Aquafina. Yeah. Or do you mean me, State Senator? Hillary Rodham Clinton. And then Zac Efron goes, or do you mean me, President Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. And so... Well, and it's like, think of what it was coming out. It was like 2016. She was probably.
But why I'm bringing this up is because I think it's almost like his character is getting in touch with his feminine side in a way and going, you know what? Yeah, we were kind of a little bit like uncalled for what we did.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like where he even goes in this house, yes or no means no and yes means yes. Whereas the other house, it's like
it's
a sign that says
no means yes.
No means yes.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's very like where it's almost like he's learning and he has to learn in a way.
Well,
and I love that.
I think he starts to think about things differently. He starts taking care of them a
lot,
and like
in a way like a dead mother.
Yeah, and so everything's going well, and they're like the two sides are fighting, but at one point. They are seriously out of money. Well, they're seriously out of money, and so they're like, well, what are we going to do? They said, we're going to, they find out, like, Ike Barinholtz's character has bed bugs, and so they're going to have to, like, tent their house. So they take all those bed bugs and throw them in the sorority, so that they have to tent it up, so that, like, when the escrow folks come by, they don't see anything. And so, the girls lose a bunch of money, and so their plan is to call the cops on a bunch of people to get them busted for selling weed, and then they're going to get weed and sell it themselves so that they can corner the market on it and get tons of money. And Zac Efron's like, guys, you can't do that. That's like way over the line. That's, not a good idea. And he starts kind of like lecturing them. He's like, young ladies, you need to listen to me about this. And starts kind of like, he's trying to help them, but he's also, trying to be like stern, almost fatherish with it. And they all vote for him to leave. And so they kick him out. So then he goes and helps Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, and then kind of, almost becomes part of their family.
Well, they decide they're going to sell a bunch of weed but they're going to, you can't do that, he says, because everyone else is going to be selling weed. We'll just, call those people in to the cops. We'll be the only ones selling weed at this big pep rally kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then they have a big plan that they're going to steal the weed from them, so they can't make the money up.
Yeah.
So
that they can be
get kicked out.
Yeah.
And what happens at that pep rally, I think, is very funny, very and very cast. How do I want to put this? The cast works really well together.
Yes.
Like very choreographed, but
yes.
like well together in a way that you're just like, oh, it's not chaotic. You follow it very fine, but it's just like, I love it. And I'm generally laughing at this movie. There's not a moment where I'm not like either smiling or laughing at this movie.
Yes.
Which sometimes is hard to say in these movies.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with it. So it comes to find out that they take the weed and then they burn the weed and then they give the weed away. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Just that.
Oh, okay.
But they, so the girls decide they have to throw like a rager just to try to make up their money. And, because if they don't get it, they're gone because then they spent the last of their money on buying the weed that they were going to resell.
Yeah.
So they decide like, hey, we're going to have to throw like a big party, but we're going to have to do it like the fraternities want, like where we're going to have to make it like a pimp up, hose down party, whatever, or pimps and hose party. That was one of the other ones he mentioned before. So they invite all these guys, and they're like dressed in their, in their skimpiest outfits and like wearing wigs and whatever, just to make themselves look, try to ultra feminize themselves, like basically like what they think that the fraternity guys want. And so they have this party, and next door, they're trying to stop them at the same time, and so they're going to call the cops. But they need to make sure a bunch of stuff happens first. So, like, they're trying to cut the power and trying to, like, do all these other things. So they're all kind of working against each other. And there's some funny bits of stuff that are going on and all of that. There's some funny scenes between Ike Barinholtz and Beanie Feldstein, who both drink punch that's there. Never drink the punch. And so they're both really out of it, and somebody slipped something in the punch, so they're both really out of it, and so they're playing off each other, acting with that, and of course they're both very funny people. Some might have said Beanie Feldstein was a funny girl, but they
not anymore.
Oh, not anymore. They don't say that. No. That's too bad.
I don't want to tell you who they think is a funny girl.
Yeah. She's only been scheming at it her entire life. But the so they go through this whole scheming back and forth. they think things are about to go down, and all of a sudden all the girls of the sorority realize, oh my god, this is not what we want from this party. They look over and like the one guy is like spraying people with a hose like for a wet t-shirt thing, and like it's just nothing they would have wanted. And so they all decide, all the girls are like, I think I quit. And start leaving. And like Chloe Grace Moretz, they've said multiple times that like she did not really have friends growing up, that other kids at school didn't like her. And so she really treasures her friends, so she's trying to stop them.
Her dad's Frasier.
Yeah. And her older brother, I assume, is Freddie? But they're trying to...
Uncle Niles? Is that you?
She's trying to stop them. And so... they're next door, they're all like, oh man, like that's not what we wanted, it's for them to lose friends. And so they basically poke their heads out and they're like, hey, knock it the fuck off. And Rose Byrne has this funny thing. Rose Byrne is talking to them about like, it's the sororities wherever you guys are together, that's all it is. And she even says, they're like, okay, tell us something profound. And she's just like, it's this and this. And they're like, we need more than that. And she goes, you know what? When you get knocked down, or I get knocked down, then I get up again, because nobody's going to keep me down. And they're like, oh my God, that's so great. Did you make that up right now? And she's like, yes. It's funny. But so yeah, like they decide, okay, we're going to stay together. And the girls go and get changed, and they kick all the assholes out of their party. And so it's just them again.
Yes, because they chumbawumba'd them.
Correct. They chumba'd them right in the wumbas.
Right in the wumbas.
The band that came from a dream that they had, where there were these like creatures, where all the male ones were called chumbas and the female ones were called wumbas.
So back to this movie.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the movie. Sorry. So back to the movie. What? Don't shake your head at me. Back to this movie. So they kick everybody out, but then. The other sororities realize, hey, this is what we want. We don't want, like, to be, like, second class in all of this. Like, we want to be part of your sorority. And so they ditch the other one and all go to join them. And they all pay their dues as they walk in. So now they have tons of money. And so, even though it kind of screwed themselves over, at least, like, Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne were like, I think we did the right thing. And the girls came over and were like, hey, we have an idea. These people may have backed out, but what if, because now we have all these people and we will not have enough room. What if we also rent this house? And, like, we can pay you, 3 buckets of money a month. And they're like, 5 buckets of money. And they're like, perfect, okay. So they just have a bunch of cash that they'll get. So, yeah, they pay them 5 buckets a month. And so that's how they work it out. So they don't end up selling it. They just end up renting the house to them. And then they, go to their new house. No. So
screw that girl from Broad City. You don't get a house.
And there's a sweet moment.
Try to make me watch your show again.
There's a sweet moment where, Zac Efron, because like before he gets mad at Dave Franco because he's like, I thought we were, going to be bros forever. You're not my brother. Like, you wouldn't do this to me. My true brother wouldn't do this to me. And he was pissed at him because when he came out, he didn't tell him first. He told Gerard Carmichael, and he was just like, well, yeah, because, he was bi-curious in college. Like, he understood more. And so, like, it was just became this big rift. So Zac Efron goes over there, and he basically tells him, hey, I'm sorry, like, you're always going to be my brother and I love you and I'm really happy for you and your fiance and like I love you both.
Oh, and that's the kid from Scrubs 2.0.
Which one?
Dave Franco?
Yeah.
I know, I'm just joking.
But he ends up becoming a wedding planner because he's good at planning parties, but specifically he plans gay weddings. Because they're like, yeah, it doesn't hurt that they want to fuck you. He's just like, yeah, who knew? So he basically plans gay weddings.
Do you know who Dave Franco's married to in real life? Allison Brie.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I did know that.
They met at Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird. But yeah. So everybody lives happily ever after.
Yep, they got their house.
Yes.
No one's by them.
Yep.
They lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
No signs of a Neighbors Part 3.
Do we really need it?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't think we need it.
I think they should have moved into next to an old folks home. And the old folks are mad that they're the young ones.
Oh, that would be great. That's called Neighbors Super Poopers. All right. Well, you've been deuced on that one. Should we do our 5 questions?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. What do you think is the best part of this movie?
Well, I have a lot. Look, this cast is wonderful. I think this cast is stacked to the rafters. But, hold on, I'm clicking my thing here so I can give you my answer. My answer, of course, is Wendy the Realtor.
Stop it. You didn't even remember her damn name.
I did too. I had to remember it to stall my brain from remembering it. COVID gives you foggy brain. It's the way it is, kids. All right. Look, there are a lot of funny people in this movie. A lot of people who later on will do funny stuff. But what I was impressed, I was laughed every time that she got to put her guard down, was Rose Byrne. I think that
oh my god,
she is hilarious in this movie.
Yes,
and it cracks me up every time. There's the Crocodile Dundee scene.
Yes,
that will forever make me laugh.
Well, and a lot of the humor, it's so fast paced.
It's fast paced, and it's up my alley.
Yes, yeah, because they don't really sit on it a lot. Where you're just
no,
there's
a scene where they end up spelling sorority. And she spells it like sorority.
Yeah.
And Seth Rogen goes, "Is the titty silent?"
Well, he goes, Zac Efron goes, "There's no I in sorority." And Seth Rogen goes, "Yes, there is. There's actually 2. And she goes, "There's not 2." And he goes, "Yeah, on either side of the Y." Or either side of the T. And she's like, "No, there's not." And Zac Efron's like, there's a U in there, and nobody knows how to spell it, but she spells it sorority. He's like, sorority? Is the titty silent? It's stuff I think it's because it's stuff I expect from them.
From them, but from her,
yes,
you're like, thank God someone's letting you do that. More people need to let you do that because you are funny, which I always thought you were. But I'm just saying, you're funny. Let it shine. Keep going, Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne. Favorite part of this movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I agree.
Next to Winnie the Realtor.
Oh my god, stop. It's really hard for me to clarify one thing that I really like about this, what my favorite piece is.
Were you shocked by it? Were you shocked about how much you liked this movie?
Yeah.
Because I was too.
I was. I thought I would laugh at it.
Yeah,
I thought the trailers looked fine.
I didn't think I'd laugh.
Yes, I belly laughed a lot, and I think even in the humor aspect of it, I don't know, I like the comedic pacing of it a lot. It's hard to describe. It's it was paced right, and the jokes were not overdone. Even when they stayed on something a little longer, from a humor aspect, it was broken down into easily digestible parts. It's a good movie just to laugh. You don't have to really be that deep into thought about it.
No,
just laugh with it.
They're not reinventing the wheel. This is another. Yeah. This is another comedy.
Yeah.
That's about being in college.
Yeah.
Animal House did this. A long time ago. They'll continue to make movies like this.
Yeah.
This movie will rank up there, and the original probably will rank up there as probably the better of the fare of the movies. And I'm surprised we don't get more from the sorority perspective, because we always get from the fraternity.
I think you have the added. There's like an.
I think
added,
you're getting it now because we have like females comedians that are willing to do that.
Well, and I think before you had two sides to it. You had Teddy, Zac Efron, and you had Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. So you had, probably in the first one, it's just two sides that are conflicting. But this one, you really have three. You have Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen versus the sorority girls. And then you have Teddy, who is with the sorority at first and then switches over to the others. Mm-hmm. Like, so you get a third side to that. And so I think it's like...
technically Teddy's with everyone, if you think about it. He's with the fraternity at the beginning. He's with the sorority in the middle.
Yeah.
And then he's with the couple.
And I just count the fraternity as it is his piece of it, just
right,
because they don't do the fraternity without him. They're not really
in it that much, but
yeah.
I'm just saying that's where he starts. Look at the journey of where he's coming from. And that's, to me, where this movie is a little bit different than, say, and we have not seen the first one, but say even the first one, but Animal House, where Animal House is not learning anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least they are learning something here.
Mm.
Like, Teddy is learning something. Animal House, he's not. I don't even think they're learning that much in American Pie. I think they're just there for the ride.
Yeah.
They're there to be whatever.
Yeah.
Gross out 90s.
Yes.
Whatever
Which, again,
it is.
Sometimes it stays too long on shit.
And it stays too long. Yes.
Bits keep going that don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, compared to this movie with American Pie 2, no doubt this is a better movie.
Oh, agreed. 100%. Well, 100%. Do you think this movie stands on its own?
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
No, I don't either. Although I will say, I think it's easy to pick up.
We picked it up. I mean,
yeah, like I'm pretty sure the I always kind of judge, especially with movies like this where I haven't seen the first part. Mm-hmm. Compare it to like Pitch Perfect 2.
Right.
Where I was like, what the fuck is happening? Are they like meeting a bunch of people where you're like, you know, and there's some of that, like, had I not seen the trailer for the first one, I wouldn't know that Hannibal Buress was in the first one as well to pick up on the joke. But I think, like, for the most part, like, I kind of... What?
I don't think that's that big of a joke, though.
No.
Right, you don't need to.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's there. It's
extra. It would be like if they had a Superbad 2 and Seth Rogen showed back up as the cop.
Correct.
Seth Rogen and Bill Hader showed up as the cop again. Yeah. Or Christopher Mintz-Plasse was now a cop with them.
Right.
But
and did change and legally change his name to McLovin.
To McLovin, correct. I'm also glad we're past McLovin for a lot of things. That joke has since gone the way of the millennial with our...
Thank God.
So... But no, like, I think it doesn't stand on its own by the virtue of, like, there's stuff that happens that I'm sure I probably missed, and I probably would have been like, oh my God, that's the thing from the first one.
Right.
But I was able to pick up and kind of just surmise from, like, they do a good enough job of just expository dialogue and a very like organic dialogue telling me everything I pretty much needed to know, or like it kind of like insinuated
it doesn't feel like previously on.
Yes. I didn't need to like recount it all at the beginning. So yeah, no, I thought it doesn't stand on its own, but it's okay because they do a really good job of, like, if you didn't see it, it's easy to figure out what's happening.
You could jump on.
Yeah.
Very much so. We did.
Yeah. Does this make you want to watch the first one?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, very much.
This is funny enough to make me go, is the first one, is this funny?
Yeah.
Is the first one funnier? Is this one not as funny as I'm thinking? Or as I'm knowing? Do you know what I mean? So I question it a little bit. That's the damage we get from, like, doing a show like this.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes we don't know the first movie.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we're just comparing this movie to what we know of A, what we saw, and B, other movies in the universe
that
we've seen as well. So I can't really compare it to the first one.
Yeah.
I can only compare it to like what I said.
Yeah.
College movies like American Pie or Animal House or whatnot.
Yeah.
And going there, I could see a new generation and a new understanding and a new comedy-filled version of an old story.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Well, and I think about, like, again, I go back to, like, Pitch Perfect. And I think part of the danger with the way we did this, and I think it's... Sometimes you get, like, we talk about how, like, sometimes the second movie, you don't need to build as much in the universe. You can kind of, like, you've already laid the groundwork for a lot of humor. And so you don't really need to build on it as much. So, if you're watching them in order, you might be like, oh my God, that movie was hilarious. And then you watch a second one.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, it built even more on that. The danger in doing it the way that we are, where
or
we're kind of
might be
going
the other way
reverse.
around.
Like with Pitch Perfect, there was some really funny parts in that movie where I'm just like, yes, this is hilarious and whatever. But you go back and watch the first one and you're like, yeah, okay. Like it was funny, but they escalated the humor. And since I'm watching it the other direction, it's like, well, yeah, it's not as funny as the one I just watched. I think that's the inherent danger with doing it in the way that we are here, watching the second one before the first one. And I'm wondering if that's going to hit.
You could have gone the meta route with this, but it wouldn't have. I think it wouldn't have played as well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, especially with Teddy, you could go the even more of a meta route than him just hanging with the sorority.
Yeah.
But instead, you just have him in general, and I think that works. I think we get too much meta nowadays, to where meta itself has become a genre, and meta itself has been played out so many times that we know what's going to happen, and we kind of it's almost like meta is the new dad joke. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, hear me out. Like, meta becomes the new dad joke when you're like watching a trailer and you're like, ugh, I get it. They're going to do a meta joke right now, and they do, and then you roll your eyes.
Yes.
Like, you just predict it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel when I watched the Clerks 3 trailer.
Oh my God, yeah.
Previously this week. And I think that this is different. And I think that this would suffer if it was more meta. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree. I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's why don't we move on here? Would you reboot, continue, or cancel this?
I'm done. I mean, we talked about, I guess they're in the old folks home. That was just a joke between us.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done. Because I think that the diminishing returns aren't there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that they would be, I don't know. I just think the third one would not be as well.
Yes.
Done.
I agree. I think it would be too much at that point.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think it'd be too much. I think you would, like you said, point of diminishing returns on that.
Well, the kids are growing up a little bit more.
Yeah, like the only thing I could see is like
a hassle.
If it's many years from now and it's like their daughters in a sorority or something like that.
Right.
But even then, is that really going to be that interesting, like, 18 years from or 15 years from now?
Well, it's that, and how do you then put Zac Efron in? Because you would want to put Zac Efron in.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I don't know how you would do that. I'm surprised they did it here. But when they did do it, it worked fine. So, yeah, no. I'm done.
Yeah. I think this is a good place.
Within good reason, I'm done.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, Mirage. Reboot, continue, or cancel?
Whatever. Just
now
talk.
You don't want to talk? Okay.
Now you don't want to talk.
Now you don't want to talk.
There you go.
She said reboot. You're horrible.
You're horrible.
You
don't know what you're talking about.
You're a cat. Hi, princess. So, no, I think that, like, I'm with you. I think cancel. I don't really think you need to keep going.
Not in a bad way, cancel. I think you just cancel
just
because
this is a good place to stop.
yeah.
Like if you keep going, you risk souring the whole batch. You know, like at that point you're overdoing it, and it just taints everything else through that. So, no, I'm with you. I think this is a great place to stop. I think this is a good 2-pack. You know, enjoy these 2 movies,
2-pack,
and then be done with it. Double feature.
double feature.
Sum up your experience in 2 words.
Sophomore pass. I think this is the second one.
Yeah.
Sophomore, even though they're freshmen. I don't think it works. I think this passes for something enjoyable, something entertaining that you can be entertained with. And it doesn't. I don't think it insults the audience to the point where some of the other movies I talked about did.
Yeah.
Like American Pie really insults I don't think it holds up.
Yeah.
I think you'll have these social moments in these movies that are I think will hold up, and so maybe that will help.
Yeah.
With the longevity of this movie.
Yes. Yeah.
As opposed to, say, American Pie.
Yeah, agreed.
So.
Nope, I agree with that. My 2 words will be, Nope, that would come out wrong. I'm trying to think of like a good way to phrase something. I think that great comedy. I don't know how else to describe it.
What great comedy?
Well,
I'm sorry.
they don't have to be puns.
Can we rewind it? Monty,
Yeah.
what's a great comedy? Great comedy. If next week's an action movie, can I say great action?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I'm going to.
I know you will. Yeah, because I made one comment about the fucking realtor and we talked about it ad nauseum.
Before we were on,
Yeah.
you were like, what's the realtor's name? Who cares? And I
the
go,
synopsis.
Wendy, the realtor? She's amazing.
The original synopsis I looked at was like, then the couple is coming and buying them, Jack and Tammy, and like it's going on with these
Jack
like
and Tammy.
details that have no bearing to anything.
What do you mean they have no bearing on them?
It's like they are not
It's
worth
pushing the plot
they're not
along.
worth learning characters' names.
We can learn. We can learn to be more civil to Wendy. She's having a hard time. Look, it's an inflation out there. There's prices are just crazy. Look, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Be nice to Wendy.
Never. So.
Maybe the house is haunted. You don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Greek yogurt.
Perfect. I love it. Go.
Because it's about the Greek system. And yogurt because it's Greek yogurt is thick.
Yogurt.
And it's thick and flavorful, and the story is very dense and thick, and it's got tons of flavor to it.
And I love how you made fun of me.
Why?
Because that's how I talk.
What do you mean? That's the way you talk.
You know what you're doing.
I know I don't. I really don't. I wasn't trying to.
Okay.
That's what happens when you're together for 10 years. They just start sounding like each other.
Start picking and sounding on. Yeah.
Yeah. Start
I know
finishing each other's.
when we bought this house, Wendy the realtor, she said
We did have a Wendy the realtor. She was amazing.
she was amazing.
Okay.
When you're married 10 years,
Yeah. Or baby. Or nursery.
you can have this or
Nursery.
look at this right here. It's a garbage can of fire or a nursery if you guys are maybe want to adopt.
Yeah.
What are you trying to like give us your kid?
We had a great realtor.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Greek yogurt, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you've been doing on this one. You can find this movie. You can rent on Amazon Prime, or you can watch it on Hulu on the FX app. I don't know if it is cut. I'm going to assume that it probably is for television. Do not watch it cut because there are some great cuss moments, cuss words, especially with Rose Byrne, that will make you laugh so hard. So I suggest renting it if you can. Because the way she says "fuck" is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Other than that, where can people find us, Jeremy?
People can find us at thedeucepodcast.podbean.com, Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on really a lot of those podcatchers. You can find us on Facebook, the same name, the Deuce Podcast. Or you can also find us on Twitter at Deuce Podcast. There you go.
Yep. You can find me at Coldwell Banker, helping Wendy with her tears from her realtor, from you making fun of her.
Coldwell Banker?
Coldwell Banker. Do they still have Coldwell Banker?
I don't know. I was just getting ready to look.
Are you looking that one up?
Yeah, I don't even know if the Coldwell Banker real estate place is still going. Yes, I think.
Thank you. All right. Next week, make sure you have a pick, Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Make sure Wendy.
Done.
Okay. You got it?
Yep.
All right. Do you want to share it right now, or do you want to?
No.
Okay. Whatever. I don't care. Either way, I'll find a way to make fun of you. So
I know.
Remember, folks, episode 181, and we're counting down. And remember, the sequel is king. Oh, this is 180, not 181.
180.
Yeah. Sorry. Maybe I just wanted to end it really soon.
You're just skipping numbers. Next week, 193.
197. 3 more episodes left.
Sequel's king.
Single ladies, I wanna see your hands right now. I wanna see you dance right now. Single ladies, I wanna see your hands right now. Cause it's a party in my pants right now. You're invited, so don't be late. We're about to explode today. Oh, we gonna celebrate. Oh, cause it's a party in my pants.